Now we're rolling. Damage Plan MMA podcast. I'm Jason, as always, my co-host, Zack Partridge. What up, man?
What's up, Holmes?
How you doing?
It's a good weekend.
Long
weekend.
You had a very long weekend this weekend.
Yeah, we all did, but
You're
it all worked out.
Yeah. Glad your son's doing okay.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
Yeah, everything's good. It's gonna be a long road of recovery, but luckily kids bounce back quick.
Yeah.
People don't know. My youngest, my 1-year-old, took a little fall down the stairs, broke his femur. I was on my way to the Fierce fight, so everybody I missed at the Fierce fight, sorry, but had to take care of the fam. So
family comes first.
Driving to the arena and got a phone call from my wife that said he was hurt, falling down the stairs, and had to take him to the ER, then up to Primary Children's to get surgery, get a little rod put in his little femur. He's 1 year old, so that was like the toughest because he doesn't understand.
Oh yeah,
right? He doesn't get it. So, but he'll be all right. It's 2022. Grateful for all the good medical attention and appreciate all the messages.
Yeah, it was. It's scary, man.
Sorry I missed y'all at the fights, but
welcome to having boys, I guess, and you're going to have 4 of them here pretty soon.
Yeah. First broken bone though.
That's pretty good.
Boys.
It's pretty good. So you were able to watch the pay-per-view from Fierce Fighting Championship on Saturday at the hospital. You were texting me every time I had questions that Cody couldn't answer for me. I'm like, Zach's my encyclopedia. I need answers. And he's texting me while we're live watching the fights.
I was trying between getting updates from the nurses and doctors and the surgeon and stuff. I was staying tuned in. Got to go back and rewatch the fights. So good night at fights. It sounded like the energy was really good there at the crowd and the whole night, didn't disappoint. I'm grateful for too is I think that every fighter on that card, everybody came to fight. There was not one performance where you're they didn't really bring it or afraid to fight or whatever. Everybody came to fight. And I think that's indicative of the way Utah is, Utah MMA is. It really doesn't matter where, it was Utah, we fight, Utah fighters, we fight. It was a good night.
It was a special night, and I have to give a shout out to Jackson with his.
Jackson killed it.
He was amazing, man. He was amazing. The crowd was into it. He was getting them fired up. Everybody was responsive. It was just a phenomenal night. And
Jackson freaking killed.
Yeah, he killed it. I got to pull up the card here so we can go over the fights here. We'll start off with the first fight of the night, which was Derek Jorgensen and Sidney Blackwood III. Derek Jorgensen making his MMA debut. We saw Sidney on the last card, ended up coming up on the short end of a decision, which was a very competitive fight.
Yeah.
And he started off the night with a bang.
And I thought Derek was doing really good for his first fight.
Did great.
And he was doing some things. It was just, I keep saying it, but the level of the debuters is getting better and better. And Derek had a good fight. Unfortunately, injury might have him sidelined for a bit, but we look forward to having him back. And Sidney will be back soon, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking Sidney definitely needs to come back because that set the night off. It was insane. Next up, we had Brandon Burgess and Weston Raleigh. Burgess, he was 1-1. Raleigh making his MMA debut. Kind of hard to top the first fight with that one.
Well,
Burgess pretty much kind of dominated that one. He threw probably 150 leg kicks.
He broke his hand.
Is that what it was?
He broke his hand.
Okay.
So he actually broke his hand, and okay. I'm pull back the curtain a little bit.
Yeah.
Weston got on the card because he knew somebody that works high up with the company that we work with, and said, you got to get this guy on the card. Okay. This is where he's going to get his props.
Yeah.
That kid, no real background in training, had a little bit of wrestling, high school wrestling, I believe.
Yeah.
But did his weight cut all the wrong way just because he didn't know better, right?
Yeah.
Missed weight, unfortunately. Brandon still took the fight. He was very apologetic. you could tell he wanted to do everything the right way. He just didn't have the team or the knowledge around him yet.
Yeah.
And I think if he gets into a gym, he actually could be decent. Because one thing that he has that you can't teach, toughness.
Kid's got heart.
I mean, he didn't quit, and he's still in the hospital. So if he's hearing this, like, hopefully you get well soon, Weston. Like, best wishes. He said that like he was so dehydrated that a minute into the fight, everything was like blurry, and he went the full 3 rounds.
This is how bad.
Didn't quit. I've seen people quit for much less.
Oh, he had no quit in.
I'm saying all this to try and give him his props about how tough and mentally tough, maybe too much for his own good.
Yeah, the kid was tough. He looked drained at the weigh-ins. He came up to me at the weigh-ins, and he was actually over. They agreed at a catch weight, and he came in over, and he said, "Hey, I will pay him a couple of $100 extra to take the fight." Like, that's how bad the guy wanted to fight. Like, that's how bad he wanted to be in there. So props to him, and props to Brandon. Came in there and did what he needed to do. And Keith was like, because the corner was the little one person over from me on the commentary booth, and Keith is yelling for Brandon, finish him. Brandon's probably thinking, what do I got to do? Who was it? Mike Perry. Brandon's probably doing the Mike Perry. You get in here and finish him.
Go. You go.
You go.
I don't want to get hit right now.
Oh man, that was good. Next up, we had Nicole Fuga. Hopefully, I say her name right. Did I say her?
Nicole Fuga
making her MMA debut against Sasha Lopez, and props to Nicole because she took this fight on short notice. One, up a weight class because she didn't want to fight at that weight class, but she really had no choice because she wanted to fight.
Yep.
She looked like she had 4 or 5 fights under her belt.
Yep.
Phenomenal fight. My fight of the night. I know Trevor just commented on here and thought Siler and the Mongolian was fight of the night. I thought the women put on they were throwing down.
Sasha and Nicole, that was, I mean, it sucks that somebody had to lose because they both their whole journey, like weight loss journey, and to be in there, Sasha's had a really hard time finding opponents. It's a hard weight class to find fights for.
Yeah.
Like Nicole stepped up, took it on short notice, which, I mean, that weight class, usually when somebody falls out, it's pretty much over.
Yeah.
But, they stepped up and they did a phenomenal job. And Nicole will be back in June.
She was impressive.
We already have a fight lined up for her for our June 25th card. So it'll be really exciting.
You touched on it on the debuters earlier when we just started, and she looked, for a debuter, phenomenal. Sasha looked phenomenal. You saw the adjustments Sasha made. She kept getting caught with an overhand, and she started making adjustments about halfway through the second round and started slipping it, and that's when I noticed the fight start to change a little bit towards Sasha, because it was, I mean, you probably could have flipped a coin after the first round and a half.
Yeah, pretty close. Heather, thank you. He's doing great. Mama's taking good care of him.
Mama's taking good care of him. By the way, props to Hillary, because she's 8 months pregnant. Now she's got to deal with the son with
7.5.
7.5. Those were the amateurs. We kick off the pro bouts with Teague Vigil and Ethan Goodwin. We've seen Teague in the Fierce Cage before. You and I have watched Ethan fight on the not regional scene, but I guess regional scene. He's been around making his pro debut, and Teague pretty much dominated the first 2 rounds. Pressure. Bless you.
Excuse me.
A lot of pressure up against the cage, kind of overwhelming Ethan. You could tell that he didn't want to let Ethan get at his range.
Yeah.
Because as soon as Ethan would get the space, he'd start popping out that long jab and keeping Teague at bay. They must have seen something in Ethan, because he got a couple takedowns, Teague did, and he didn't do anything. He let him get back up.
His jiu-jitsu's good.
Yeah.
Ethan's jiu-jitsu is really, really good.
They must have saw that, because I didn't know it, and my fault for not doing my research, but he clearly was good, because he ended up pulling off the victory.
Teague might be the best 0-2 guy I've ever seen.
He's going to be a problem for people.
He's a problem. I was actually talking about it with Roman, Ethan's, coach and manager. And, or Teague is a tough out. And so people will be like, yeah, I want to fight the 0-2 guy. That is not a picnic.
No.
Like he is going to be a hard fight for anybody. He's durable. He does not stop.
Oh, no, he was nonstop.
Like and it was just like the Austin Strill fight. Like Austin just matched his intensity with it, but it was like, dude, like, relax a little, bro.
It was, you could tell he was obviously, he knew he was, Ethan knew he was up. Ethan knew he needed a finish in that third round, and he ended up getting it.
No doubt about it.
Mason says you got to get Teague up to one hit MMA and he'll be unstoppable. I don't know. Does he train at a gym?
They have their own gym.
Oh, that's
They have their own like gym at home, and he's got a couple guys training with him. Mason, I actually know that Teague has been invited to our gym by a teammate, and he very politely declined, from what I understand. But I would love for him to come in and get some work with us because he cleans up a couple things. With how good and high paced his Austin Steele fight definitely could have gone either way. It was just the output and pace was just unsustainable for two pro debuters. Unsustainable, right? And then this fight, Teague did a fantastic job of just fighting the fight where he wanted it, and he just needs just a little bit of fine tuning.
Yeah,
he was just a couple minutes away from.
He was a couple minutes away from winning. Yeah.
So,
maybe from the outside looking in, I thought maybe conserve a little bit of that energy because a lot of those punches he was throwing, especially in the first round, Ethan was doing a really good job of shelling up and blocking a lot of those punches in the first round. Not that my opinion matters, T, but if you're listening, that's kind of what I saw from my point of view.
Yeah, see, I didn't even mind that as much. It's just he needs to. Having that to fall back on is an awesome tool. If he could add some more tools to his belt so he doesn't have to just do that for the whole fight, I think that would be he'd become a monster.
Yeah.
He is a monster. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. It was a fantastic performance. He's just got to clean up a few things.
I am a fan of Ethan. I like Ethan. He's good on the mic. He's fun. He's got a lot of energy. He's a good kid. We've had him on the podcast before. I really like Ethan. Hopefully we'll get to see him back up here again.
I think we will.
Next up, we had Julian Ruiz against Ray Ostrander. Julian looked phenomenal. His boxing looked good. He throws heavy shots. He had great takedown defense. He's going to be a problem for some 145ers.
He just once he gets into that cage and he gets into that, he's one of those guys that I just feel like he's been doing it for so long, and he has good instincts too.
Very good instincts.
He's like you said, he's going to be a problem for a lot. He's a handful for a lot of 145ers. I think he's going to find himself in a boat real soon with his boxing background. He wants to stay active. I think he's going to find himself in a boat real soon where the only people that are going to fight him is killers, and like we'll see the evolution of Julian Ruiz, and he can be if he puts it all together and can stay healthy, he's going to be, he could make a fast ascension onto some big headlines. I know he loves MMA. What's fascinating to me is boxing is where the money's at.
Yeah.
But a lot of those guys that cross over seem to want to make their run in MMA, and boxing is the thing they do to like stay busy between MMA. I'm interested to see if the money in boxing lures him a little bit further away from MMA.
Yeah.
Because he's a good boxer. I don't know. It's interesting. I guess we'd have to have him on and talk to him about it a little bit. But that psychology of they talk about fighter pay, and then there's some fighters that can legitimately box.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's where the money is. Like, go get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Clay Collard, right? Like,
yeah,
he became a bigger name from the run that he went on boxing than his UFC run.
Yep, that's true.
Right?
Very true. Yeah.
And but where is he? He's back in MMA. Like that's what he wants to. It's just interesting. But Dutch saying he had some great knees to the body on the ground. That's what I was talking about. His instincts.
Oh,
Just like it's like there's the opening, utilizing all of his weapons. Very good at that. Ray, very tough. Ray was very game. He was tough, confident. I knew that we knew that Julian was going to be a hard fight for him, but he always takes hard fights. And props to him for coming up. I thought he had a good performance. Hopefully, I think we'll for sure see Julian back in the fierce cage.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can find somebody that Ray can come up and fight sometime too.
I love Julian's composure in the cage too. Just compose, and like Dutch said, those knees. He was right. They were right in front of us at the commentary.
Those were rough,
and those were big knees.
Rough.
After he had already landed a couple big knees as they were standing, and he dropped them. I was like, ooh, props to Julian, man. He's definitely one to watch out for. Next up, we had Joel Haro and Steven Steyerwalt. Steven Steyerwalt coming down from SBG, Idaho, facing my boy Joel Haro. And Joel, he looked impressive.
That wasn't anything. That wasn't anything, but it wasn't about Steven not doing anything right. It was more, or doing anything wrong. It was more about what Joel did right. And I don't care. I've said it privately enough. I'll say it. I think Joel is the most complete pro MMA fighter in Utah.
He's taken his training to another level. And I know I've mentioned it on my post, and I told you all the time, and you're like, I know, I keep telling you, but watching him evolve and take the steps that he needed to elevate his game, getting in touch with Bobby King and doing his camp with Bobby, going to Denver, training with Dwayne Ludwig at the Bang Muay Thai. And you saw a little bit of Bobby in the cage on Saturday night. You saw him. It was Bobby's in his corner. I can hear Bobby. It's like Bobby's playing a video game with him in there. Head moving. He's moving his head.
Well, and I've said it before, Bang Muay Thai, that system, is not my favorite.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why it's not my favorite is I feel like it's not for everybody. So to have like a whole system at a gym doesn't. I don't think that there's a lot to it that just doesn't fit a lot of people's styles. But the people that it does fit, it's an incredible thing. It's an incredible thing to watch, because like somebody like Bobby King, who gets into the Bang Muay Thai system, shoots off, right?
Yep.
Joel Haro gets into the Bang Muay Thai system and makes him even better. It was built, and forgive me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe it was basically built for TJ Dillashaw. So it's built for lightfoot, athletic people, switch stances, a lot of head movement, a lot of footwork, stuff like that. Where some people that's just not their style, and they're like, for me, example, I'm one of them.
Yeah,
I'm not one that's just gonna switch stances, dance around the whole time, a lot of movement, and stuff too. Like that's not my game. But for somebody like Joel, you've seen it, he's turned into this just bona fide electric striker. And we haven't even seen as a pro really his complete game yet. And
that's not his first, and that's honestly not his first strength either, is his striking.
No, it's not.
That's what people haven't seen yet. He's going to be dangerous.
Yeah. So it was. John, we should have you on the podcast to talk about it sometime.
It was really cool being able to hear Bobby. I mean, Pedro didn't even have to say anything because he's just as smooth as he was on his feet, and to hear him, Bobby calling for the two body, and that's pretty much what he finished it with, was the two body, the jab cross body hook, and that.
There's not much more devastating besides head kick knockouts.
Yeah.
Those liver shots, the way they just fold people when you hit them with a good liver shot, it's like, that's a wrap, dude.
And people are probably going to look at that and think, oh, Joel just dominates. Steve had 7 pro fights, 11 amateurs. He's never been finished.
Well, so that's the other thing. So Steve, very durable. Right?
Very durable.
Tough, whatever. Joel might have been able to punch him in the face for 3 rounds. And I bet you Steven would have kept coming unless he found that magic button. Right?
Oh, yeah.
But when you start beating up the body, and especially a good liver shot,
Yep.
it doesn't matter how tough you are. I mean, look at like Jeremy Stevens when he fought Jose Aldo.
Oh yeah.
It does not matter how tough you are. A good liver shot will put anybody down. Anybody. So
that was beautiful.
That's that. Again, Steven was another really good guy. We enjoyed having him down. Hopefully, we can have him down again sometime.
We, I told you, but when we went to dinner after the weigh-ins, we had probably 20 people at our table.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Steven and his party walk right by us, so they're eating right across from us.
Nice.
Steve Sharp wanted to send them over a couple shots of alcohol, but
he should have.
Joel didn't. Joel, he's not confrontational, so he's like, no. But
man up, Joel. Let Steve Sharp be Steve Sharp.
Well, Steve knew Jesse, so he's like, it's fine. I know Jesse, but Joel didn't want the confrontation. But anyways, it was funny.
Hey, Joel.
Hey.
I don't expect it from you. But hey, Jason, thanks for the invite to dinner.
It's not my party.
You're a jerk.
It's not my party.
You're a bad friend.
It wasn't my party.
Bad friend.
Next up, we had Cole Schaefer and Ben Robinson. Ben Robinson coming off of a 5-year layoff, and he looked impressive. Looked really impressive in there.
Yeah, there's whether you believe in ring rust or not or whatever, one thing that never let your hands fly, and we like kind of knew, like I've watched Ben's last fight before this or a couple fights, and kind of knew what he was going to bring to the table. A lot of people have a lot to say. People know I'm pretty good friends with Cole.
Yep.
People have a lot to say about whatever. My only response to anybody that thinks they know that what's going on with Cole, unless you're in the gym training with him, or unless you know him personally and talking to him consistently, you should probably just keep your opinions to yourself. And I think more people especially people that don't know, it's really easy to have the answers. Sitting back in hindsight, right? So, I mean, I felt it when I've lost. People say, "Oh, you need to do that." I'll never forget my draw with Tony Rodriguez. I had a guy that was the only time he'd ever watched me fight, never seen me train, never do anything, sent me a long text of things that I need to fix.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude,
you're just like,
I take zero stock in it. And for what it's worth, Cole shouldn't be taking any stock from anybody that's not in his circle. So probably people should just be respectful that type of athlete he is, the type of competitor he is. He does everything the right way. He promotes a show. He promotes sponsors. He shows up every time. I don't believe he's ever pulled out. He always makes weight. He does well. Like, he's everything that a promotion would want in a fighter.
Yeah.
And win or lose, I think any promotion would be lucky to have somebody like Cole. And even if the performance isn't what he wanted or what people are hoping for or whatever, that's what fighters, that's what we have to deal with, is that side of things. So let us deal with it with our team and our circle.
Yeah.
And probably don't need to hear a bunch of the outside noise.
I think a lot of people,
it's just my 2 cents on it. I
think a lot of people don't, especially from the outside, from the non-fighters perspective. I think they want to be, they want to try to be supportive.
Yeah,
they don't understand, because I mean, I've been in the same situation, and I just happen to have been around it long enough that I know that I just keep my mouth shut. Like, I can't tell him anything. He just, all I said to him after this fight is, "Hey man, I love you. I support you. You're a freaking warrior." But I think a lot of people, I think they want to support so bad, and they think they're helping, but they're not.
I'm just letting people know, like, it's not.
It doesn't help.
Just keep it to himself.
It doesn't help. Hey, props to Ben though, man. He came down here and did what definitely no ring rust. He looked phenomenal. He looked in phenomenal shape. I made him put on his shirt before I did the post-fight interview, because I was not going to stand next to him with the shirt off, because it looked like he was carved out of freaking granite. Super nice guy.
Respectful. And Ben, I've already messaged him. He has an open invitation. I hope to see him back in the Fierce Cage series.
Right back in there again.
I really enjoyed working with him. Good guy to work with. Good athlete, good competitor, and I think he has a lot to offer MMA.
Next up, we had Jan Jorgensen making his return to the Fierce Cage against Ras Hilton. coming all the way back from Maine. It was Maine, right? Because I
Yep.
did say Maine.
Yep.
Him and his wife drove down from Maine.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was a fun fight. Those were two ginormous guys. Ras being huge.
Yeah.
6'8", big guy, did what he needed to do. He he probably, maybe, I'm assuming he did a little bit of background check on Jan, and actually I don't think he did, because he didn't know who Jan was. He thought Eric Iman was Jan, so I actually don't think he did know the background, because one of the most nicest guy you'll ever meet in person.
Yeah,
Like,
no, they're
super
really
nice.
I think he had a good game plan.
Great game plan.
Somebody like Jan, a lot of muscle, aggressive. He was an aggressive fighter, good athlete. Like, what can you do to do that? Hold him on the cage for a couple of minutes. Let him carry that big 6'7", 6'8", 262-pound frame.
Yep.
Which I believe he even did cut a little bit to get under 265. So he might have been 270 or so in the cage that night. Like, make him carry all that weight, that huge frame, zap those muscles a little bit. I think Jan, I'm sure he looked in great shape, but everybody knows, like, there's good shape and then there's fight shape, and I think Jan, I don't think it was ring rust as much as it was just, he was coming off that injury and maybe came back a little too soon. I don't know. I don't want to make the same mistake that I just warned everybody about with Cole, being overly critical. That's just what I observed. And I think, but Jan says he'll be back again. So if he's back again, we'd love to have him, and he's great to work with and be a part of the show. And hopefully he's down to do it.
He almost finished him.
He almost finished him.
Got
the docket. All that being said, still was a fun fight. We almost had our Janimal moment. So it's all right. Props to Roz for coming back. And him and his team was really good to work with.
Next up, we had Steven Super Seiler against Armasan Sogoku, the Mongolian. The Mongolian looked sharp in there. He looked really sharp in there.
And that's it. People can say whatever. It really doesn't matter. Like, Seiler has like 60 plus professional fights.
Oh yeah. For
somebody that only had 10, like, Seiler's crafty. He's a veteran. He's been doing it for a long time. He's fought some of the best. Fought for the million in the PFL. He was on the Ultimate Fighter. To get into the house, he had a huge upset to get into the house. He's fought everywhere, anybody, anytime, anywhere. That's a big win for the Mongolian.
It's a big win.
Marsana, super nice guy, coolest dude.
Oh yeah,
he has his little Mongolians from Salt Lake City that come and support him. They're freaking.
They awesome. Go crazy for him.
And we're gonna and just little teaser, June 25th, the Mongolian will be fighting. It'll be a good fight. He'll be on this card, and
it's gonna be good.
I think the fans in Utah will really be interested in that fight. It's gonna be a good one.
I actually had the pleasure of commentating. I didn't say this after the Joe Haro fight. Cody was commentating, and I had Mitch Ramirez and Cynthia Calvillo jump in and commentate with me for the last 5 fights.
Right.
And that was freaking amazing, having 2 people with that high of fight IQs in there commentating.
You almost have an average fight IQ with how high theirs is and how low yours is.
Yeah, I'm just glad.
I'm just kidding.
Yes, Jackson, he will be back in June. Yes, we just probably can't say it right now because we don't have stuff signed on the dotted line, but it's happening. All right, next up we had Jerome Hatch against Daniel Stewart. Stewart making his way down here from Oregon, fighting our boy Jerome Hatch. A little bit of controversy in that one. A little bit of controversy. A lot of people didn't like the so we had 3 people on the broadcast. Mitch and I thought Daniel was up 2-0 going into the 3rd. Cynthia actually thought the fight was a lot closer than what we were talking about on the broadcast. She thought Jerome was doing enough with the pressure, and he did enough with the damage in the 2nd round. And it ended up going to a split decision with Jerome getting the nod. And yeah, like I said, there seemed to be a little bit of controversy there.
So It's hard. Hey, thanks, Jerome.
Thanks, man.
I think that when first and foremost, one of the hardest things is I don't know Daniel Stewart. We know Jerome. We like Jerome.
Yeah.
I'm cheering for Jerome as a person. If I'm on commentary, there you go, Dutch. On commentary, it's hard to not stay biased. You and Cody during Joel's fight. But no, I'm just giving you a hard time. But and Jerome, that might happen. You might that name might come across your table again soon. Personally, I thought Daniel Stewart won rounds 1 and 2, and I thought Jerome clearly won round 3. And that's just based off the judging criteria that we've been informed by Scott Bowler is that. But here's the other part of it. My opinion doesn't matter. The only opinions that matter are the three guys judging around the table or around the cage. And Jerome got his hand raised, and I mean, it was a good fight. It just
so I having my opinion that I had on the why we were live, and then hearing Cynthia say what she said, I said, okay, I can see, because you could get in a room with 10 different people and have 10 different people watch that fight and see it 10 different ways.
Sure.
I actually talked to one of the judges afterwards. He gave me his thoughts.
Great breakdown
of what he thought he saw in the fight
and why he thought Jerome won. And fair enough, right? That's what he saw.
We have the best judges in Utah. Like, these guys do nothing but try to make things right and try to make the right calls.
And I'll say this too. One thing that we agreed on too. I don't think that's the goal, right, Jerome? Finish him, right?
Yeah.
Like, take it out of the judges' hands. Like, but this is what I always say when people are like, don't leave it up to the judges. Well, if it was easy, we'd finish all of our fights.
Yeah.
It's not easy, especially against vets like Jerome Hatch, Daniel Stewart, and stuff like that. Like, you guys are good professional fighters.
Yeah.
Like, it's not easy to get people out of there. If it was, like you said, if it was easy, every fight would be finished, but it's not. And that's where the judges come in. But whatever. Like Daniel Stewart, sure. Like, maybe he should have gotten the finish if he didn't like it or whatever. But it's not easy to finish Jerome Hatch. Like, yeah.
They just
some people are, down. But I just have to give you respect to both guys. They came in, like I said at the beginning, everybody came to fight, and Daniel and Jerome came to fight. They don't know anything about Daniel Stewart. My personal critique on Daniel Stewart, I think he backed up too much, and I think he gave Jerome a little bit too much respect on the feet. If he wanted to have a chance to, win the third round or make things look better, for Daniel Stewart and his camp, if they want to say, yeah, but he won the fight, like he should have won the rounds 1 and 2. Okay, that's fine. That's what I thought. But if you want to make it concise, like, go take it, right? And when you're backpedaling a lot and giving the other fighter a lot of credit, or giving them too much respect and too much credit, and it makes them look like they're the aggressor and stuff too, that, like, to Cynthia Calvillo's point, like, that's where you can lose fights that maybe you should have won. And so, I mean, it's not – what I'm trying to say is, if a judge's decision goes a way that not everybody agrees with or whatever, there are still things the fighter that thought they won but lost could have done different to make sure that they won. And one thing that Stewart did is, I think he's a striker. That's another one. I think live scoring is going to become a thing at Fierce Fighting Championship. Just saying. That I if we can implement that in June, I think that is something that I think that's something that's got to happen, because I want to see it. I would like to see it. So if I'm helping running a show, like that's something I'd like to implement. He wasn't doing too much,
and that's what Cynthia's point.
But can all the judges hear the refs giving you?
No, but from who I talked to, they thought that they didn't hear that, but they basically thought the same thing. They said he got the takedown, but he didn't do anything.
We rewatched the second round.
The second round, now this is hindsight's 2020, right? We're watching the second
Yeah.
round. We're like, God, he kind of did a lot. He passed in the half guard, got inside control,
Finished round 2 and mount.
finished round 2 and mount.
Got the takedown with 2 minutes and 10 seconds into the second round and stayed on top the whole time. That generally will win you a round. But again, you know what would have helped him win him that round for sure?
Yeah.
If he would have sat down on some punches and got Jerome on his heels a little bit in the beginning. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even if we think one guy lost, or one guy won, the guy who in reality lost on the judges' scorecards could have done more. And there are things that you can point to Daniel Stewart said he could have done more that would have won him the fight.
Yeah. Yes. You can watch it on the web. Go to the website, Dutch. It's up right now.
It's up there for free.
Yeah. You can just click on the pay-per-view thing. It's up
Type
there.
in the code. The code's right there at the top.
I don't even think you need to type in the code. I think it just plays.
Oh, do you? Cool. There you go.
But I mean, if there's one thing that we can say about our judges, and I know people are probably going to be watching it. If some of his friends bought the pay-per-view, they're probably going to be looking, hey, the Utah judges screwed me over. I'm telling you right now, our judges are probably some of the most competent judges around. They literally try to make sure that they get this, they get these fights right.
I'll say this from experience, right?
Yeah.
From experience, my last fight got a draw in a round that got scored in a 10-8 round. Mm-hmm. They gave to the out-of-towner.
Yeah.
And, you know, I thought it could be a 10-8 round or whatever. And I don't feel like I got any preferential treatment because I was a hometown guy. They just score it how they see it. I think our judges do a pretty good job of not favoring the Utah guys over out of town guys. I think they just call it like they see it.
They could have easily given that 10-9 and you win the fight 29-20 easily. Right?
So, but they did what they thought was right, which is all you can ask.
They put their personal biases aside when they're judging.
Or maybe they hate me.
Yeah, maybe they hate you. Yeah, Dutch probably does for sure.
For sure.
Main event, we had our boy Eric Iman stepping against Edison Lopez. Edison came in there and started doing these capoeiro kicks. He's 265 pounds, and he's in there kicking like that, doing these roundhouse kicks. And
262.
262, yeah. He came in there and did what he had to do. I mean, it was pretty. I want to say that one was over pretty quick.
Yeah,
ended up getting the rear naked choke. He said something about the hometown guy. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, I mean, they can't say that, and his manager knows that it doesn't go that way because he's been on the other end, the receiving end of some good decisions. So, yeah, Eric laying down his gloves after it, calling it a career.
It's a disappointing way, but like I said, I hope he. Not that I could offer somebody like Eric Iman like a ton of advice, but I hope that he did. It's not always about just the result of the last fight. It's the body of work and journey, and that is something that Eric Iman definitely can be proud of.
Stand-up guy, always brings it, always ready.
Yeah,
always brings a crowd, always respectful. He's going to be missed, man. He's going to be missed in that cage.
Yeah, but he will standing offer. He sounds like he's going to be joining you on the mic on June 25th for Fierce Fighting Champion.
Yeah,
as a commentator. So
yeah.
All
right. So before we talk about the UFC fights, which he didn't buy it for me, but he will by Friday. We'll talk about that. Give me your.
You're a jerk.
Give me your fight of the night. Who's your fight of the night?
My fight of the night, from what I saw, would have to be Sasha Lopez and Nicole Fuga.
I think that was mine too. I said it. I congratulated both of them. They were both freaking amazing. Fight of the night, definitely Lopez and Fuga. Knockout of the night,
Sydney Black.
I gotta go with Sydney. That head kick. I mean, Joel's liver shot was beautiful, and I love Joel to death.
I'd give performance.
If there was a performance of the night, Joe Hara was walking like that.
I mean, I'd give Joel performance of the night. He had the cleanest performance, I think, of anybody.
Phenomenal. I'm Julian, close second on that. Super close second.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
They were 1A, 1B as far as performances.
There was just something about Joel that Julian was very impressive, but there was something about Joel that it was like we kind of felt it with like the Kesley fight, I thought. But
Yeah.
there was just something about this fight that was just like, Steven Steyerwalt is a good, tough fighter. And Joel he kind of made it look easy. And against a dude that's not easy. And that's, it's not a dig at Steven. That's how good Joel is right now.
You even saw the level changes, the him leveling up from the Kesley fight to that fight. Just his movement.
Ooh, what's it gonna look like next?
Hey, I'm just glad he's our guy. That's all I'm gonna say. Is Utah MMA is. It was a phenomenal night. The crowd was crazy. I appreciate everybody's support. It was a great night. That was the loudest it's been in there since I've been to one of those. It was loud.
Yeah. So coming in June and
June 25th, we'll be back. Friday. We'll breeze through this UFC card really quick. Oh, Kayla Harrison's fighting this week.
Does anybody even care?
Nobody really cares.
Kayla Harrison's gonna spike some other poor girl on her head.
You know what?
I think they should tie it on behind her back.
I don't even care to see her. I really don't care to see her fight.
What is she? Minus 8,000?
Probably. We'll just scroll up this real quick. We had Shannon Young and Gina Mazzani. I think I picked Mazzani on this one.
I did.
Shannon Young
knocked her out.
I didn't see I haven't watched most of these, so I got to go back and watch them. Tom Levy comes through with unanimous decision. I heard that fight was a lot of fun.
They were gassed.
I heard that was a lot of fun. I actually talked to Eli and I were messaging about that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were gassed.
Gabe Green gets the TKO win over Johan Lanise. Figgy's little brother Daniel beats Daniel De Silva with the knee bar in the first round.
Yeah, slick little knee bar.
Alexander Romanov, we knew that was one of our picks. Alexander Romanov by submission. Boom, gets it done early in the first round. Krzysztof Jotko, I did watch that fight. He looked really good in that fight. Beats Gerald Mershart. Darren Damage Elkins. I did not see that fight.
No, but Darren won the decision.
I think we picked Darren in that one too. Yeah,
I don't think I did.
Decision. Could you go Conley? Did we go Conley?
I think I did.
I think we're both on Grant Dawson on this one. That was a really good fight too. That was a fun fight back and forth. I think we were both wrong on Andre Feely, man. Wow, he got put out of there pretty quick. I'm a little disappointed.
I feel like Feely wins that fight 8 out of 10 times.
Yeah, it's a little disappointed.
Just got caught.
Jake Collier and Andre Arlovsky. I had a lot of controversy on that one. Did we both pick Arlovsky or did I pick Collier? I bet Collier because he was an underdog at plus money.
I would never bet Collier.
If you know how if you go to like MMAdecisions.com, you can see like all the everybody picked Collier. Like nobody thought Arlovsky should have won that, but I didn't see it.
So here's the other aspect of that.
But my bank account says Arlovsky won.
No, not your bank account. Nobody cares about your bank account.
I do.
Question is, how many people know how to correctly score the fights? You know what I mean? They don't.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't. So they might not even be watching for the right things. I bet you Arlovsky knows exactly. Dude, he did the same thing in another fight.
He did. There was
Tanner
another
Boser.
Yep, Tanner Boser.
Where nobody thought that he won.
Yep.
But he won.
Yep.
I think it's because he knows what the judges are watching for and how to execute a game plan around that.
Yeah. Marlon Vera, Rob Font, I really do need to go watch that one. Because I heard it was a super competitive fight. Did you watch it?
I watched parts of it and highlights and stuff, but
it seemed like Font was doing like you said in the jab, but then towards the end of the round, Cheeto would put the damage on him.
Yeah, Cheeto's a savage.
That kick, the sweet chin music kick was
he tuned up the band.
Yeah.
No, I just think that you gotta just tip your hat and say Cheeto, okay, like that's a big win for him. That's another step up. What was his loss to? Jose Aldo?
Yeah, I think that was his last loss. I'm gonna go. So who does he get in the cage with? Do you run it back with him and O'Malley?
He beats O'Malley again.
I think he does too. He
probably beats
Sanhagen.
You hate Cheeto?
No, I'm just saying.
You hate him?
Who else? Because Rob Font was 5. Either that or Marab, or he's going to get Dominic Cruz, which I think he beats Cruz right now. So you get Marab or
I'm not
Sam.
sure he beats Cruz.
You don't think he beats Cruz?
I'm not sure.
I think he does now.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, interesting. We have pay-per-view this weekend.
Okay, I was just looking at the odds.
What? For what?
The pay-per-view.
Does anything stand out?
Oh, yeah.
What stands out?
Rose Namajunas is only -200 to Carlos Esparza.
Do you think it's because
Carla beat her forever ago?
I think they're the odds makers are giving maybe Carla's wrestling gives Rose problems. You don't think so?
Like, I thought Rose was going to be like -350.
Like Chandler's -410 against Ferguson. Does Ferguson have
no shot?
No shot.
No.
He can't catch him.
No, he doesn't catch people. He killed him with his cardio and his zombie. But dude, it's a 3-round fight. Michael Chandler went 3 rounds with Justin Gaethje.
Oh, and that was a war too.
You know what I mean?
It was
Like
a war,
dude. It's
what about
no
Brandon Royval's -255 over Matt Schnell? You like that line?
You know who I like as an underdog a little bit?
Randy Brown.
Oh, I do actually really like that one.
I like Randy Brown at plus money.
Marcin Hua over OSP. We've seen OSP have some off nights, and he's -230. And
I would take a shot at that.
And Hua's like, dude, he's a legend, and his game is, you know what I mean?
I want to see the weigh-ins first and see what he looks like. Because if he comes in and shit and he looks good,
the way Donald Cerrone's looked, wouldn't hate Joe Lozon.
I was thinking the same thing. I like Lozon too.
Randy Brown is fun. Macy Chazon versus Norma Dumont. Macy is good and long and powerful, and it cracks. Norma's a tough grinder. Like that could be an interesting fight. This actually might be a card that we see some big upsets. There's some decent sized line, 2-1 dogs, 3-1 dogs that might win. This would be a no parlay card.
You know who else we got on here is wow. There's some. You have Ariana Carnelosi. She's like a 2-1 dog against Lupita Godinez.
It's not on this card.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I don't see any odds for it.
It's not on there. I'm looking at Tapology unless they pulled it off. Tracy Cortez and Melissa Gatto.
It's a good fight.
That's a good fight. Oh yeah, Godinez is -170. The comeback is +150 on Carnelosi.
There's some tasty underdogs.
There's some good underdogs. I was 4-1 last week, just to let you know.
Nobody cares
on my picks.
Nobody cares.
What else we got?
I just don't see. I don't see how Chandler, Rose lose. I don't see how that either of them lose.
So, are you Gaethje?
I mean, Justin Gaethje is like my favorite fighter in the UFC, right?
I know.
You really think I'm going to pick against my favorite fighter in the UFC?
You know what's hard is everybody Charles has fought recently in the last couple fights. It's like I love both guys. Like,
yeah,
I love Chandler. He's such a stud. Obviously, Poirier's such a stud. I love Gaethje. I'd love to see him be the champ, but I just think Oliveira's here right now. And until somebody knocks him down, I can't bet against him.
So Oliveira got dropped against Poirier, right?
Mm-hmm.
He almost got finished by Chandler, right? I mean, you can only flirt with death so many times before it catches you, dude.
He did finish Chandler, and Gaethje couldn't finish Chandler.
Because he got him by submission.
Stylistically, right? It's
that you're doing the MMA math thing, and it's a different matchup with Gaethje and Chandler.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a different. It's not like he like.
But yeah,
like Gaethje said it perfectly.
Who?
No, okay. Gaethje said it perfectly. You know why? Is because Chandler wasn't expecting it. Chandler didn't think that Oliveira could knock him out.
Okay.
And with Gaethje, he knew that they were gonna stand and bang for 3 rounds.
Okay. We're always big on this, right? Who has the most tools to win? Who has the most ways to win? And we saw Oliveira has the heart because he's gotten knocked down in his last couple of fights when everybody said, oh, he's got quit. The guy has no quit in him. That's gone. So who has more tools to win?
No, take that back. He has quit in him. He just hasn't been pushed to that limit yet. You don't
think so?
Well, obviously he hasn't. He didn't quit.
You
can't say he has no quit in him when we've seen him quit before.
I said anymore.
That's not something you just lose.
But he's been pushed. He's been pushed.
Listen to what I'm actually saying. Yeah. He's learned how to get better at that and push deeper, but he still has a breaking point. We've seen.
I'm saying since the Kevin Lee fight, he has elevated.
I know
Kevin Lee was working him, and he came back and ended up choking him out in the 3rd round.
Kevin Lee was working him?
Kevin Lee was doing good against.
Are you sure about that? Because I remember that going very differently.
I'm pretty sure Kevin Lee was.
I felt like he was winning that fight.
I feel like Kevin Lee was winning the fight. All right, I'll have to go rewatch
it. Maybe we'll rewatch it, but you know what I mean? I'm not saying that Gaethje can get him to quit, but I'm saying once I've seen it somewhere, the thing that Oliveira does so well, especially on the feet, is he's very technically sound. He's always balanced. His footwork's always good. His feet are in the right place. He's balanced. He slips well. He throws all of his punches very clean, straight, tight punches. Very defensively sound. The problem is Gaethje hits like a battering ram.
Yeah.
And here's a question for you. Who got the closest, do you think, to hurting Khabib? Because I believe it was Justin Gaethje with those leg kicks.
I think the leg kicks were doing some damage.
So if you go rewatch that fight, there's the point where some urgency by Khabib to take him down and finish him the way he did.
Yeah.
I think he took one of those leg kicks and even Khabib goes, I can't take too many more of these.
Oh, yeah.
Before
I agree.
Before it starts changing the dynamic of the fight.
Yeah.
I think Gaethje, strategy-wise, actually was implementing a strategy that Khabib wasn't going to be able to win a decision against him potentially if it was on the feet still, right? With the pressure and stuff. Gaethje was always also getting pretty tired running to keep that distance, right?
Yeah.
But his leg kicks are something that people haven't talked about lately that could be an absolute game changer. Again, I look at Oliveira and I see a very skinny 155er.
That's probably the biggest threat I think Gaethje it brings is those leg kicks. Because if he could start connecting with those, he could do some damage quickly.
The other thing that'll be interesting, can Oliveira get him down or get to his back? If he gets to his back, it's over. We've seen
if
he gets to his back, it's over.
It's over.
Can he get him down?
Yeah.
That's another story. Like Gaethje, one person that's really been able to get Gaethje down is Khabib.
Yeah.
So it's like, can Oliveira get him down? Like,
it's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a good night.
Like,
it's gonna be a good night.
But Gaethje just here, and the other thing is, I think Gaethje's in the better camp. I know that Oliveira comes from the legendary Chuta Box camp in Brazil, but I look at Trevor Whitman and Kamaru Usman and the cross training they get in with Elevation Fight Team and Drew Dober and some of those guys. I just think Gaethje has the best coach in MMA, I believe, and I think in a fight that close, that matters.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I think he's definitely at their camp. I got to go with the champ till somebody dethrones him.
That's fair.
And it's not. I agree. I think you're right. I think those leg kicks are going to be what determines it.
If Gaethje can start landing leg kicks, 4 to 5 leg kicks.
Oh yeah, it's going to change the fight.
That's
going to change the fight big time.
Yeah.
Because then that's going to slow down Oliveira's pressure because you know Oliveira's going to keep coming forward.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a great card. Anyways, all right, are we done? We wrapped up this bad boy up.
Yeah, we're done.
We will see you guys on Friday. Quick little breakdown for that UFC card, and then yeah, we'll rock and roll.
Rocking and rolling.
May 21st, Mountain View High School. Come see us.
Yeah, we're in Utah, baby.
Yeah.